Today we will begin our dive into a book titled Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Got Married. This book, when published, sold over 300,000 copies. It was written by Gary Chapman, the same author who brought you the 5 Love Languages. In his introduction, Gary explains that marriage is the foundation of all human societies. He mentions that no one gets married with the intention of making himself or his spouse miserable. Yet divorce rates in Western cultures hover around 50%, with the highest percentage occurring in the first 7 years of marriage. His belief is that this is a result of lack of preparation for marriage and failure to learn new skills to work together as teammates despite apparent differences. In his first chapter, titled I Wish I Had Known That Being in Love is Not an Adequate Foundation for Building a Successful Marriage, he recounts his personal experience with his wife. He explains how he loved everything about her, from her looks, the way she walked, and how she talked, and that based on all these emotions, they both decided to get married. However, 6 months into the marriage, they both felt extremely miserable. They believed that the euphoric feelings of love would linger indefinitely, but what they found were feelings of anger, disappointment, and resentment instead. Listening to couples talk about their relationships in his premarital counseling sessions for 30 years, Gary explains that the term falling in love is akin to walking down a path and suddenly falling in a hole camouflaged with branches and leaves. Because people believe we are destined for marriage, the sooner this happens, the better. In other words, if you fall in love, then you should get married without taking into consideration differences that may exist socially, spiritually, and intellectually. The result, after 1 year of marriage, is 2 people sitting at a counselor's office contemplating separation because there is no more love. Gary goes further to clarify that when the tingles strike, you are happy with the opposite sex and want to spend every waking moment with him or her. And as important as those feelings are, they are not enough to sustain a marriage. Research has shown that the in-love phase lasts an average of 2 years. However, after that, the things we neglected or thought were not essential are now pivotal. Differences start to manifest, and arguments increase with the person we thought was once flawless. Gary's advice to anyone who's dating or is engaged in contemplating marriage to really use this period of time to get to know each other intellectually, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. And that concludes the first chapter.